Welcome everybody to another episode of What's on My Mind and What's Going On in My Life. And I want to talk to you today about abundancy or scarcity. I want to share with you what happened to me when I was a little kid. My parents were married. I had an older brother and I had an older sister. And we lived in the smallest house in the neighborhood here in Oklahoma City. Our house was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1-car garage house, about 900 square feet. We did not have central air conditioning. We had window air conditioners. And the majority of the houses in the neighborhood were 3-bedroom, 2-car garage houses with 2 bathrooms and central heat and central air. So basically, we were the poor people of the neighborhood in some ways. My dad was a stockbroker, so that had, back then in the 60s, that was like a status job. He also had an accounting degree, and he was a certified public accountant, but we lived in the smallest house. And we were looked at as the poor people. Well, between the second and third grade, we moved from that onto a private lake in the middle of a middle-class residential area. So we went from living in the smallest house, being the poorest people by perception, onto this private lake surrounded by middle-class people, and the people that lived on the private lake had the perception of being rich. And so we went from one extreme to another extreme. And I ventured off the lake when I was that summer in the second to third grade. I ventured off the lake and I went into the regular neighborhood because I was a new kid and I was looking for new friends. And I found them. And they would say, well, where do you live? And I'd say, well, I live down this way and around there. And they'd say, that's where the private lake is. And I'd say, yes. And they'd say, wow. And they were like, and it was kind of cool. And I would say, do you want to come fishing or do you want to come swimming? And I would invite them over. And it was incredible because kids came over to the house in flocks. One would tell another friend, hey, we can go swimming, we can go fishing at the private lake. This new kid named Tom lives there. And so from second to third grade, that was an incredible summer. I had so many new friends at my house. And then from third to fourth grade, the same thing. It was just lots of fun, lots of kids. But then the next year, there were probably, I remember it, like 20 to 30 kids. There might have been more, might have been less. But they were all over at the house. It was a weekday. Obviously, we didn't have jobs back then. We were in grade school, you know? So we were kids. We fished, we swam, we played basketball because we had a basketball court. I mean, it was just fun. And this one kid comes up to me and he says, see all these kids? I said, yeah, isn't it cool? And he said, no. He said, they're just using you. They don't like you. They say things about you when you're not around. They're just eating your ice cream sandwiches out of your freezer. And when they leave here, they don't care about you. He said, I'm your only friend. And it was my first public speech I ever gave. I remember as clear as today, I called all the kids up from the lake and around from the basketball court, and everybody came up to the porch, and I was up on the porch and they were down below, and I told them that they didn't like me, that they were only using me for my stuff, and that they all needed to leave. And they left. All except my one friend. Now the next day, I called him up because he hadn't come over yet, and I said, hey, are you coming over? And he said, yeah, I'll be over in a little bit. And he came over that afternoon, and it was really, really boring. I mean, he wasn't fun to be around. The other guys, all those kids, they were fun. You know, it was fun. There was lots of laughter and everything. Well, the next day, I call him up and I say, are you coming over? And he says, no. I said, what are you going to do? And he said, well, I'm going to go over to Billy's house. Well, Billy was one of those kids that was hanging out at my house. I said, why are you going to Billy's house? You said he's not a friend of mine. He said, well, everybody else is over at Billy's house because he's got a swimming pool. And they're all hanging out over there and it's fun. And I'm going to go over there. And I said, wait a minute. All those people were at my house and you told me they weren't my friend. And he goes, yeah, but I'm going to go to Billy's. And what I realized is I didn't do anything to get to deserve this house. It was my father and my mother that got the house. I was just in that family. But God, I believe, had given me a gift, had given me a lake where you could swim and you could fish and a basketball court, and given me ice cream sandwiches in the freezer that I could share with the kids. It was a gift to me. And I was doing the right thing with it until my best friend told me the rest of the people were just using me. And I started living in a scarcity mentality for a while. I didn't realize how I'd ended a relationship with so many people. If you don't like me, there's a lot of variables that go into that situation. But if I've got something that I can share with you to make your life better, if I've got a platform, that lake was a platform to be able to have all kinds of friends. But I didn't see it. I did see it that way before my friend pointed out that all these people were using me. People use me all the time. The other day I had an employee come into my office and share with me she needed some money. She was moving and she needed $300 to help her to be able to move, and she wanted me to loan her $300 and then she would pay me back on her next paycheck. I loaned her $300 cash, gave her $300 cash. No checks, nothing through the business, just me personally loaning her $300. Well, the next paycheck came up and she didn't pay me anything. Didn't mention anything about it. The next one came up, she didn't pay me anything. Well, that was probably 4 months ago. She no longer works here at the company. And the other day she asked me for advice via text, not verbal, not calling me, not coming to see me, just sent me a text that she needed help. She needed a lawyer. And I thought, why should I spend any time helping this person? Because that's what Jesus would do. Jesus would help her. She needs a lawyer so that she can get her criminal record expunged. If you have gone to court and they have deferred your sentence, and if you complete your sentence, then they're going to expunge it. But in the state of Oklahoma, you need to make sure it gets expunged. It's just not automatically. And a lot of times you need to have an attorney to do that. Now, there are some attorneys in Oklahoma City area that can do the footwork, know what the process is to get that expunged. So, if she has that on her record and she needs to get it expunged so that she can get a job, then it would be wrong for me not to just at least recommend an attorney to help her. It took me about 5 minutes to find an attorney and to text her back an attorney that she can use to get her record expunged. Now she can get a better job if she follows through. That's not my responsibility. I'm not going to pay for the attorney. But as I was thinking about the $300 this morning, I thought, she's probably never going to pay me. And right now she might feel guilt or she might feel shame because she said she was going to pay me back and she didn't. And I thought, why not just give her a gift? Why not just send her a text that said, forget about it. This is a gift. But I just sent her a text and I said, you don't owe me any money. Just consider it a gift. And that God loves you. I don't have the capacity to love a lot of people that I should want to love. You know, people that have ripped me off, people that have said bad things about me, people that have hurt me or hurt my family. It's really hard for me on my own power to love people that have hurt me. Hurt people hurt people. But God gives me the power that I need to be able to love people that have hurt me. And so I freely give her this $300, and I freely give her the information to find an attorney to expunge her record. and I'm going to feel really good tonight when I go to sleep. Where in your life do you have things that you could share with other people to help them to have a better life? Maybe it's just giving them a copy of a book. You could give them a mentor, the kid and the CEO. That'd be a great start. That would benefit everybody. Is there somebody that lives in your neighborhood you could carpool with, that you could give them a ride to work and save money and gas and get to spend time with somebody of quality? Is there somebody you know that would really like to have a phone call from you, just where you call and see how they're doing and say hello and maybe share with them some of the things that are going on in your life? The more we give, the more we live. The more we try to love other people, the more we try to love God, the better our lives are, the more quality our lives are. So what can we do today to love people more and to love more people? Thank you for tuning in, and please invite someone to church this month. Invite someone to your church. Invite somebody just by saying, would you like to come to church with me this month? Last week I had 7 people with me that I had invited to church. That makes me feel good. Please invite someone to church. Thank you.